No, we are not satisfied, and we will not be satisfied until justice rolls down like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream. I have a dream. Hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. Interposition and nullification. One day right there in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted. Every hill and mountain shall be made low, the rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. This is our hope. This is a faith that I go back to the South with. With this faith, we will be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we will be able to transform the...
Welcome to week 3 of Real Tough Talk. I'm here at Ghost with my partner Stephen J. And we're here to give a tribute to Martin Luther King by explaining how he influences us in our everyday lives. And I want to know, what do you think influences you?
Well, Ghost, I think what Martin Luther King birthday does to influence us all is it makes us feel that we have an opportunity to accomplish anything, that we're able to not be limited in our mental thoughts, to think that it's a certain ceiling we come to when it comes to our dreams. So I mean, me for instance having this football league, I would have never expected to be able to put something together and have so many people involved, you know, to a positive way to put this whole thing together. So that's one of the ways that Martin Luther King inspired me to want to go out and do something on my own, because I know, you know, it's a dream of mine and it's capable of happening. Obviously, it's not as big as what he accomplished, but if it's not for what he have done, small things like what I'm doing wouldn't have been possible. Let regard the big things, you know, it would be no way possible to have big or little things had not been for the stuff that he did. So I take that personal to myself, my family, as far as all the things he was able to accomplish for us, you know. And we're very lucky to have had a man, you know, give up his own life, sacrifice his own life, knowing the risk and everything, sacrifice his life anyway, just for we can be have our independence as black people in our lives. So what is it you think?
Well, what influences me is just knowing that he felt something that we should all feel as Americans in general, that we're all equal, that we don't have to look at each other and think that that person's different from me, so that person has more opportunity than I do, that that person is better than me. Like, we're all on the same page, we're all on the same level, and we're able to accomplish things on the same level, whether great or small. So my point is, it's the same as in the league. Like, one team can be great, but that doesn't mean that they can't, that there's no chance for the smaller guys, you know. Like, everybody's on the same page when we get on the field. Everybody gets along, there's no fighting, there's no, you know, getting at each other on a disrespectful way. We're all on the same page, we're on the same level, so that's one thing that I take from it.
Which is the way he wanted us to be: black, white, Spanish.
You don't have to look at each other and
right.
think anything different. So.
Well, what we're going to ask y'all to do is, you know, if you'll see this video, right now it's Monday, you know, this video will be out on Tuesday. You know, whenever you see the video, if you go to on the welcome page of the website, there's a thing called guest book. And if you go to the guest book and you log into the guest book, you're able to leave comments, and that's a feature that you're able to leave comments for each other, you know, and you can talk trash, whatever. But this week I want y'all, every person, to go there and put down what Martin Luther King Day means to them. You know, their personals, how it impacted their life. White, Spanish, black, doesn't matter. Anything, just put it up there. Next week we'll read out some of the things that we have on the guest book. So I just ask you, like I said, you go to the guest book feature on the left side of the screen. You'll see guest book, you log in, and then when you do that, I want you to be able to just write down what Martin Luther King means to you. Write your name, write the team you on. Even if you're not on the team, just write your name, team, whatever you're affiliated with, and just leave your opinion of what Martin Luther King Day means to you. So we're going to start off the show. You know, as always, we give a little pound because we're about to go out. There's about to be some beef. The first game we're going to talk today about is we're going to talk about MVR versus the Browns. Undefeated in the same division. What did you come away with this game thinking?
Well, first of all, every week until the end, I'm gonna always have to bring up the bet that you started.
Right.
It's between these two teams.
Right.
You know that one team is gonna go to the championship over the other.
Right.
Of course, you picked NVR.
Right.
And of course, I opposed and I say the Browns.
Right.
So I say, you know, this is like a precursor to that.
Right.
You know, this is the first game that they actually play each other, and we ultimately see what may happen in the future.
Right.
So I'm just reminding you, just so at the end of this segment, we'll know who is ahead in that bet. So,
well, I'm gonna come away with, as far as MVR, they got together. They put 3 teams together today. Saturday, I would say, defense played well. You know, they only gave us 6 points in regulation. Obviously, the game went into overtime. You know, they had an interception. You know, I'm sorry, they had 5 sacks. They were able to sack Reggie 5 times. They can't play offense also. You know, the defense job is to stop. And for you to be able to stop a Hall of Fame quarterback like that, it's unbelievable. But your offense have to put up points because you're only going to hold Reggie for a certain amount of time. So for these guys on offense not to make plays, there's a lot of drop passes. You know, Fred made some erratic throws with the wind blowing. You know, I think that's a lot of cause to the problems that MVR faced. You know, if you look at the footage now, you can see what's going on. You can see how that ball was badly thrown. And even that throw right there in regulation, how it was intercepted, that's not his fault. The guy got to make that catch, especially in overtime.
well, I'm going to say the theme of the day for this week was defense and poor offense. And there was actually an extra defender and the win factor too, because not only did Fred have trouble, Reggie had trouble too. He made some bad throws too. Like, as you can see, he had some bad throws where certain balls went out of bounds, certain guys dropped the ball. That's another issue. There was drop passes throughout the day, no matter what team you were on. There's a lot of drop passes, and that's pretty much inexcusable for any team. But, you know, every quarterback faced that today, and ultimately Reggie and Fred faced that. So that was a factor as well. But
I mean, listen, at the end of the day, dudes are the first place team, both in the same division, both undefeated, you know, and I think right now, MVR got to take this hit personal. You know, this is a team they were supposed to step up for. This was a team that they were supposed to beat. They got together to beat teams like this, and they came up short. So I'm going to tell you, MVR, you know, you can't expect to win a championship and play the way you play. Offense has to put up points. Y'all got to help Fred out. You know, Fred is a top-tier quarterback, and if he don't got guys that can make catches and help him, it's not going to happen.
I mean, one thing I could say is, regardless of what you face on the field, your team still got to play defense at the end. And in overtime, that last play that they scored on, there's no excuse for that. Your man got burned, he's not playing defense, and this is what cost you the game. I mean, there's certain things that happen on the field that's, you know, kind of make things difficult, but then there's certain things that's inexcusable. Drop passes and, you know, sloppy defense where it counts. You know, it's inexcusable, and that's why you have to take the L and remember this L and correct the mistakes you made on this loss and get better as you go along. One thing I could say is Reggie throughout the day was getting sacked a lot. So that's one thing you get to him with. If you play good defense with your corners and everybody, your secondary does good, Reggie can't do anything else, and you can sack him all day. He's not mobile. So that should be a strategy every team uses.
Well, the same could be going for Fred. Fred is not a mobile guy. He's going to let the ball go, and I don't think he has any receivers that could go downfield and get it. Last year, he had the guy Moss. I don't know if he's coming back this year. I don't know if he's injured or the issues. But they need a downfield player like that. They don't really have it on this team, as I can see. you know, and they got to get it together, you know, because if not, it seems we're going to have a lot of problems, you know.
They actually barely scraped by Brick Squad last week,
yeah, so
with the
this,
14 or the 12 win.
This is not going to happen. So Orlando as a coach, you're the coach of the year, you're the reigning coach of the year. Earn your money, go to the drawing board, and figure out what's going on. Because the ultimate prize for y'all is a championship. Not just making the playoffs, it's the championship. And y'all guys know what y'all have to do, so y'all got to get it done. Now for the Browns, 2 weeks in a row, 2 overtime wins. This is not going to happen. You know, I don't understand if they're maybe playing down to their competition. I don't understand if they maybe not getting up in the morning. But this is not going to work. With this issue going on, it's not going to work. Great pickup by them, picking up Darnell. You know, I know LPAC was trying to get him. He ended up going to the Browns. Made a great interception in overtime. So we see the pickup there. We're going to go to the interview with Jingo right now, and we'll see what he's thinking. I'm going to let you know it's a little bit windy, so a lot of the words maybe, you know, you might not hear it too well, but we're going to go to the interview with Jingo.
I'm here with the Browns coach, Jingo. 2 weeks in a row, man. 2 overtime wins in a row. What's going on with y'all?
Well, we got lucky. We got to get out here prepared. Once we get out here prepared, we should play a little bit better. That's a good team anyway. Their defense is good. Can't take nothing from that. When we get out here, we play a little bit better. Right now, we're happy to win, and we're glad to be in the league.
A lot of drops. You got a veteran quarterback, but he can't catch the ball for them too.
Yeah, you know, at one play I told him that the only thing that he did wrong was that when he threw the ball, he didn't run catching it go out of bounds, you know. Everybody else is dropping the ball. You can't win over if they drop the ball. And a defensive game like that, we actually got lucky. We got lucky.
Do you feel, looking at it now, would you say y'all worst enemy?
Of course. For 20 years. 20 years. That's why I got to bring the younger generation up and teach them a little different.
Right. Thanks a lot, brother. I'm here with Jingo.
Thanks.
They got the win in overtime. 12-6. We stay at the site.
Interesting interview. I mean, he's being honest. He knows his team. I mean, and they got to step up. If the coach is even saying it, you got to step it up. Next week, I mean, the Browns got ball so hard. Ball so hard is on 3. They can't really move the ball. Yeah. So I think, but they made the Browns could turn their level down and take a big loss.
Yeah, I mean, this may be the week that they start emerging and want to win games.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows?
And then MVR got untouchables. Undefeated untouchables. Nobody talks about them, but they're undefeated.
Yeah.
So MVR got to get their game up because they're playing a very good team. We'll see what happens. Hopefully they'll come back and be set to play ball because untouchables is going to play them hard. We're going to come to our first break. Is a Martin Luther King salute. We'll have Martin Luther King salutes throughout the show. So this is going to be our first Martin Luther King salute.
All we say to America is be true to what you said on paper. If I lived in China or even Russia or any totalitarian country, maybe I could understand some of these illegal injunctions. Maybe I could understand the denial of certain basic First Amendment privileges because they haven't committed themselves to that over there. But somewhere I read of the freedom of assembly. Somewhere I read of the freedom of speech. Somewhere I read of the freedom of press. Somewhere I read that the greatness of America is the right to protest far right. And so just as I say we aren't going to let any dogs or water hoses turn us around, we aren't going to let any injunction turn us around.
We're back from our first commercial break. That commercial was touching to me. I just want to say, like I said, you'll see that all around the show today. The next game we're going to talk about is Ball So Hard versus Underrated. This game was incredibly bad to watch.
Yeah. A
lot of incomplete passes. Wasn't really any highlights to record.
I mean, like I said before, it's like this is gonna be the theme of the day. Like, it's not really like it's sloppy offense. It wasn't a pretty day for offense at all. So pretty much it was a lot of defense and a lot of bad throws. So you're going to be seeing a pattern of this. So don't think one game was worse than the other, because there's other games where nothing was really happening too, at least on offense. So, you know, we don't really have to beat up one quarterback specifically today, because not too many did good today. So,
once again, ball so hard starts out slow. They got 2 quarterbacks again. Both quarterbacks combined to throw no touchdowns, 3 interceptions. I was told maybe I'm a little too hard on this team, but the proof is in the pudding. I mean, the starting quarterback has had 10 interceptions in 3 games. You know, I'm not going to mention who's the starter because maybe people think that I'm picking on him, but I'm just being real with you. I mean, all we do is say is we're honest. For all them people that think we're trying to get on anybody, we don't get paid for this. We just give our opinions, we're honest about it, and then whatever you do on the field, we will talk about off the field. So, once again, ball so hard, starts so slow, can't score points, 2 interceptions by the starter, then here comes the backup. Backup throws in an interception. This game was bad, they don't understand what they're doing, they're 0-3, and they play the Browns next week. So, I mean, I don't understand what's going on with this team, really. Really. And as far as I know, underrated wasn't much better.
No. Well, I could say at least Sniper threw two touchdowns that game, which led them to win the game 13-0. The point is, like, he had an interception himself. The only difference is that interception wasn't really his fault. As you can see here, you know, it was tipped by his own receiver.
But he's blitzed. If you're blitzed, you got to hold that ball. Take the sack. Don't try to force it. We saw Reggie take 5 sacks, but he threw no interceptions.
Yeah.
You can't throw that ball trying to get rid of the blitz, and that was Sniper's problem all year, all last year. That was his same problem.
But again, I'm not going to fault him for this specific play because it was a dump-off throw. It was to his man, it's to his receiver. It hit him in his hands, and he dropped it, and it led to the interception. This isn't the first time that happened. That happened to Fred in their game,
right?
You know, which led to them losing.
Right.
That wasn't his fault. It was to his receiver. Your receiver's job is to catch the ball, and when you don't do that, it leads to bad plays, like interceptions or so. So, I mean, what else is there to say? But my point is, it was a sloppy game for both quarterbacks. I mean, one worse than the other, of course, but...
I mean, to me, my 2 guys my 2 favorite guys on ball so hard is Julian, and the other one I think is Tariq. I hope I'm saying it right. That guy is a ball hog. He had like 5 catches. He's definitely my UFL All-Star. You know, obviously, as y'all know, we're trying to have an All-Star game at the end of the season. And I will be coaching one team, Tim will be coaching the other team. And if, you know, we have like a draft. And Tariq will definitely be one of my picks because this guy is a beast. He just don't have a quarterback that's consistent enough to get him the ball. Julian, you need to let Bat start. You know, obviously he's not working with Malcolm, and there's nothing against Malcolm, but 10 interceptions in 3 games is too much for any quarterback, any team. You know, and it's not all his fault. I watched some of the game, and his receivers don't turn around. A lot of them go downfield. They don't look for the chop up.
Like, again, drop passes on their side as well. It's like, it's a theme for them. Like, every time I watch them play, there were certain guys that won't look off the line. There's some guys that drop passes. There's some that don't commit to the ball. Some, like, it's not all the quarterback's fault. Of course, the quarterback takes the blame. But, you know, because the quarterback's supposed to make something happen regardless of who he's playing with. But, you know, you got to support this man. Like, you know, it's not only his fault. It falls on the whole offense. So, you know, if the quarterback doesn't see nobody else killing themselves to get that ball, you know, it's discouraging for him as well. So, I can't necessarily just beat on him and bash on him and say, well, this quarterback is bad, when he doesn't have receivers that are committed to go out and get that ball. So,
I mean, and then you got underrated. You know, once again, we said they don't really have a big play receiver. You know, they did have this guy MJ, 2 touchdowns on 3 catches. So I mean, maybe he's the guy they're gonna start looking for. You know, I think Sniper only he need was a go-to guy. But this team moves up to 2-1. You know, and you gonna.
I mean, let's not get it twisted. It's not a great 2-1.
But it's a 2-1, and in the division that you have MVR, Untouchables, Browns, you need to get wins. And this team got a win that they needed. You know, next week they got Brick Squad. Brick Squad coming off of a loss, you know, and Ball So Hard has the Browns. They're in trouble.
That one, yes.
They're in trouble. I think they have a defense that can possibly slow Reggie down, but their offense cannot.
There's nothing happening.
Yeah.
It's like they're dead on arrival. And if they don't work this out, because this is week 4, so
We're
there's
coming up to
no
week
more
4.
games.
Yeah, we're coming up to
week 4 is
yeah.
coming up. There's no more games. There's no more ironing out the kinks.
Yeah,
and,
now it's time to start looking
now
for
it's
playoffs,
time
yeah.
to play your game. This is the game that's gonna take you to the playoffs and beyond. If it's not working now, it's not gonna work then.
I mean, this playoff scenario, what I'm hearing is 6 teams out of the 7 make the playoffs, but with the top 2 getting buys and the bottom 4 having to play each other and then have to play the top 2 the same day. So that's going to be a little difficult. And right now, Ball So Hard is 0-3, but you know they also have Brick Squad that is 0-3. So they're going to try to fight them for that playoff spot. So that's why next week is a big game because they play each other. But you're going to take them 1 week at a time, and they got to try to come with some away and against the Browns. Browns are undefeated. They and Untouchables are the only undefeated teams in the league. So Ball So Hard has to play ball if they want to. They need to ball this week. They need to ball. So with that said, we're going to come up to our next segment. Right now we're going to have a quick Martin Luther King, another short skit from Martin Luther King's, one of his speeches, and we'll be right back right after this.
Well, I don't know what will happen now. We've got some difficult days ahead. But it really doesn't matter with me now because I've been to the mountaintop. I don't mind. Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place. But I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. And He's allowed me to go up to the mountain. And I've looked over and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. So I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
Welcome back to Tough Talk. The next game we're going to talk about is Riot Squad LPAC. And that was a game that I was excited for because you have Pig, who actually played with Rose G's, who got a lot of players on LPAC from Rose G's. So basically it's like teammates playing against each other.
Exactly. And I mean, one thing is they have Mojo, who played with them before, goes on another team. They have Light that played with them before, goes to another team. And then there was another controversial move where LPAC picks up Eric, who was supposedly playing for the Riot Squad.
And I didn't understand that. And sometimes you got to sit down and see the type of player you got. Eric was said to be playing with Riot Squad, and then all of a sudden I heard he was muscled or persuaded to play with it. But I don't see what's the big deal because
I don't think it's persuade per se, because he seems like a guy that's loyal to.
Let's call it a spade a spade.
Okay.
He knew they were playing in the league. He knew he was saying he was going to play with Riot Squad because LPAC didn't have a spot for him. Then all of a sudden, they come to this game, LPAC decides to pick him up. And first of all, he had no impact in the game.
Yeah.
He made a lot of drops. He dropped an extra point. He just is not as good as people that they were fighting over him to be as good as they were fighting over. You know, I think he's a little overrated. I know he was a major part of Rose G's winning a championship last year. But all between the end of 2012, 2013, he's been having a horrible downward spiral, leave him on just special teams type player. And I'm going to call it what it is. Now, getting on Riot Squad, It's an embarrassment that this team forfeited last week, almost forfeited again this week, and almost kicked out the league because they didn't have enough players. It's ridiculous that you're going through this. It's ridiculous that guys that had a 12 o'clock game still could not make it to the game on time. And they didn't have enough guys that they had to pick up guys from other teams, especially untouchables, to play with them.
Yeah.
Or they would have got a forfeit.
I mean, I don't see what's the point of even joining a league when you're not going to be committed, when you're not going to take certain things seriously. And I feel that's what's the case for these guys here. I mean, I kind of feel bad for Pig because he comes out every week. You know, the majority of the time he's here, he's ready to play. I see Mike Mojo's ready to play, and these other guys, they don't show up. They have a quarterback that doesn't really want to throw, but he comes, and nobody else shows up. So I kind of don't understand that.
Well, now we're going to talk about the game. And now, I mean, you know, LPAC had his own things coming. You know, they brought Swagger. This week they had Shaq, who actually is the quarterback of the year for the UFL 2012 quarterback of the year.
So, like you
sideline.
said, I'm going to pull one of your cards. Like you say, call a spade a spade.
Right.
And I'm calling a spade a spade. The LPAC has become the new Rose G's.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at it, they got so many guys that are already from Rose G.
JP, Herman, Shaq, Swagger, Wise, Danny, Moses,
Eric.
I mean, this is the Rose G's, basically.
Exactly. I mean, they overshadowed the other guys that were on LPAC before they came.
Right.
So you might as well just change the name, put the symbol there, put Rose G's on your shirt.
But put this down. Put this down. On today, we're in week 3. You just got over week 3. Shaq will be the starting quarterback of LPAC come the end of the season, playoff time. Because right now, in my opinion, Moses isn't getting it done. You know, he's not as good as we thought he was going to be. And it's all about winning championships. He is a dominant offensive player. Dominant. And if he can check his ego and put Shaq to quarterback and go back as receiver, nobody in this league can stop Moses one-on-one. But let's see what happens. Because they were only able to win 14-13, unable to put up points. So, with Shaq there, it's questionable. Yeah, Shaq caught a touchdown, which is ridiculous on Riot Squad point. I can't remember last time Shaq scored a touchdown, you know, in a crucial game. But, getting back to the issue, it's a distraction. Now you have another quarterback on the team, and what was questionable to me is, how did he already have a jersey? Which means they knew Shaq was going to be on the squad regardless. So Shaq is like their backup plan. Now, if you remember, the Warriors did the same thing when they had Shaq on that team. End up coming in to throw for Miguel. So I think this is going to be a controversy having Shaq as the backup quarterback.
And that's another ego to worry about. Because Shaq, we all know, is a big ego on a team. You hear him throughout. And he does distract at certain points. So we'll just see how it affects him later on in the season. But
we're gonna see what happens.
Pretty much.
We're gonna talk about the game now. You have Rudy. If you look at these runs right here, this guy is unstoppable running the ball.
But running the ball, you know, he's a quarterback. He's supposed to be throwing the ball. We already know that he didn't really want a quarterback. But at the same time, you pick up the job, you got to come through with it. And for some reason, he's not connecting with his guys. I mean, there's certain drop passes on this side too, but he's not really throwing the ball to the point where you can take him serious as a quarterback. Take his arm seriously. He runs the ball better than a lot of them on the field. As you can see with this touchdown run, nobody touches him.
And they argued that he was tagged. If you look at the play, he was not tagged. And this guy can move.
Now, let's rewind it back to one of the plays that I'm pretty sure most people noticed on the field. 2 plays, actually. We see Swagger right here with a nice interception. He tips it to himself. The guy's not looking. He picks it up and he runs away with it. But then you see another key play where Moses throws him a great pass right in his hands and he drops it.
And then he also missed another pass in the corner. See, my thing is Swagger was supposed to be the player to replace JP. Thank God they got JP back because he has not been an impact player on offense. Defensively,
yes,
he's been Ray Lewis type dominant. And out around the field, great interception this week. almost had an interception last week. The guy's been a very great player. Had a sack last week. So this guy's up there for one of my defensive players, even though he was run for offense.
So I feel he should just stay as defense because he plays very well on defense. He's very effective at going after the ball. So I feel like they should just keep him there to guard the middle and, you know, just stay off of offense. Not saying that he can't play offense, but you're more effective on defense, so just keep it at that. It's working.
Well, another problem that Rose G had was not only Moses, you know, it wasn't all Moses' fault. Mojo, the former Rose G linebacker, gave them havoc all year. They could not block this guy. You see him coming in right now. This guy is physical. He lost some weight. He got some speed.
But if you see him running on the field, he's like a freight train. Like, what can stop him? So
I don't know. I mean, he gave him havoc all day. You know, but luckily, like I said, Rosie was able to, you know, move the ball. They did move the ball. I think it's more because of Riot Squad defense wasn't that good.
I mean, they were short. Half of their guys wasn't even there. So what do you expect? But my point is, if you're playing, and this is to LPAC, if you're playing against a makeshift team with half of your guys champions from last year, that shouldn't even be a game. We shouldn't even be having this type of conversation. It shouldn't even be close.
Well, we're going to talk now about overtime. Riot Squad gets the ball in overtime. As you can see, Rudy moves the ball. They're able to score. Then they go for the one, and they're able to get the extra point. Now, it's LPAC's ball. First play, they throw the ball, Light drops this interception. He holds the ball, that's the game right there.
That would have been it.
Then, they come back again, and they make a throw. And they had, you know, a player down on their team. Drop the interception. He drops, if you look at here, he tips the interception right to Mike. Mike picks it up, ties the game. I mean, puts them down 1.
So my point is, like, how many times have we seen this already? Drop interceptions that cost the game for the defense. I mean, you got to catch that ball. I mean, that's all it is to it.
Then, this is the play. This is a gutsy call by, I would say, Swagger. I would say Moses. I would say Shaq, Wise. That whole Rosie nucleus. Knowing they don't want to give Riot Squad a chance to get the ball back. Because then we go into sudden death. If the first overtime is tied, then we go into sudden death. So mind you, they're down 1. So instead of going for the tie, they go for the win. That's gutsy in itself. You see Moses rolling, looking, and finds JP. This guy's supposed to be out for the year. This guy had a dislocated shoulder, makes the catch in overtime, the 2-point conversion, giving Rose LPAC, quote unquote, Rose G, the win.
Of course. I mean, so which I say, don't count Moses out yet, because when he has a guy like JP that gets open and makes plays, I mean, he can actually have a decent season if he has guys like JP to throw to. I mean, a lot of other guys he's probably not confident with. One person I know that he likes throwing to is JP. As you can see, not only in this play, but he had 4 catches during the regular game.
He also likes throwing to Danny. You know, today he didn't really hit Wise like he has. Wise started out on fire. Now he only had about, I believe 1-2 catches. So he's kind of cooling off. He's still not really looking for Herman, but he's been looking for JP.
Yes.
He's been looking for Danny. He got other guys that he's looking for. So I guess you ride the hot hand, and those are the guys that's hot. As you can see, JP showed the emotion and toughness after the extra 2-point conversion, and we actually got an interview with him after the play. Let's look at the interview right now.
Yo, ready? Yeah, I'm right here with JP. Big catch, 2-point conversion to win the game. I thought you were supposed to be out for the year.
Yeah, doctor cleared me. He said I could come out here. He really gave me 4 weeks, but he said if I want to play, I'll out there and play, see how your shoulder feels.
What did you see on that play? What did you see to find out?
What happened was Light stepped up, and I went to the back, and I slid all the way through. Hit me right through the middle.
Wow. What do you say about your team? Going into overtime, starting out against a team that didn't have all their guys. What do you say for the rest?
We held it together. I think we held it together.
It wasn't pretty, but we take it.
It wasn't pretty, but we take it, and you know, We out here for next week and we're gonna try to win again.
All right, JP.
Thank you, Dutch.
2-point conversion,
Real
big
tough
catch.
talk. Real tough talk. About the show, man. All right, we're ready.
JP, that kid look hype. I mean, great catch, great interview. This kid always brings energy.
I mean, but what can you say? He's coming off of an injury he got 2 weeks ago. He wasn't even supposed to be playing this season. We spoke about that. We let everybody know that was supposed to be breaking news. JP's gone for the year. And 2 weeks later, he's playing? I mean...
They needed him. He had 4 big catches. He's an impact receiver, and they need this guy. Plus, he brings their energy.
Yeah.
He brings their toughness. He brings that swag. So this guy is a big-time player that I think. You know, he's definitely, right now, an all-star in my book. I mean, I don't know what this team would do without JP. Because nobody really else is really stepping up on offense. Danny had a few catches. Danny's becoming a great receiver. But Swagger, the guy that they brought, has not impact on offense like they would expect him to when they signed him. He's doing a great job on defense. You know, Herman is still getting going. And like I said, Wise has cooled off. So with JP coming back, that's big. That's big. So now we're going to talk about the next game, which was Reckless versus Renegades. The 14-year-old that not factored this week.
Not
fact. Actually, they actually sat him down for a veteran Clark to throw. What happened? What happened?
I mean, from what I've noticed, he didn't throw any interceptions, but it just looked like they weren't moving the ball. Like they just had trouble on offense. Things wasn't working. So I guess, not to say that he was playing horrible, I guess it's just they just wanted to try to see that something different would move the ball. Because at the end of the day, you want to win the game. And I'm pretty sure they all agree. So, you know, I guess that's why they made the change.
I mean, Clark did a good job coming in. He was able to move the ball. This guy, Clark, brings toughness. If you look at this big hit right here, Clark brings toughness. He brings the whole team to another level. You look at this hit on Bug right here. This team is not backing down. They're young, but they're not backing down to anybody. Even though they took this loss, they're not backing down. They're not backing down. So it's amazing to me. Reckless now. Reckless.
Even though they won the game, I mean, it wasn't a pretty game. Like I said already, it just wasn't pretty. I mean, Bug didn't throw any interceptions either, but I'm like, they struggled, you know, early.
Bishop had a great catch in the back of the end zone. Kept his feet in. If you look at the catch right here, great catch in the back of the end zone. As we know, Ralph is gone for the year, so Bug is going to be their quarterback. The team didn't play well. They played good enough to win. It's an ugly win. You know what I mean? Now I know that there's a rumor that the Renegades might be getting one more player. Might get one more cover player, I was told. It's not guaranteed. This I was told he was ready on the roster. He was just injured. So he might be here this week. I don't know.
Wait, is there any hints on who it is?
I'm not going to announce who it is until I'm sure on if he's going to play with this team. Because there's 2 teams he's possibly going to be playing with. You know, he's on the roster, though. I'm not going to say what team he's on the roster for. But he might become another cover player.
That's intriguing.
But now you got the Renegades coming to play the new team this week. I told you in the last segment, we're going to give their name. You know what I mean? We'll talk about them no more, but they got the new team who got a lot of energy, which was what the Renegades got. So you got energy versus energy. So that's going to be amazing. Getting back to Reckless, now Reckless has LPAC next week. Wow. You got some guy, this team has history. You know, they play with each other in Casino, you know, and you got a lot of, I wouldn't say bad blood.
I would say, let's just say it's a bitter rivalry. Let's just look at it that way. These guys on the field, they do not like each other. They do not want to lose.
They respect each other off the field, but they don't like each other on the field. And I want to see the matchup between Horse, aka Big John, versus Ty, which is Swagger. I want to see the matchup because Horse is their tight end and Swagger is their linebacker. And these 2 dudes have a rivalry going, you know. I would say they're frenemies, you know what I mean? They have respect for each other, but they really don't like each other.
But
so in a friendly way, though.
But in all honesty, that's what we like to see. That's what football's all about. bitter rivalries like this where guys just go at it, you know? That's what's exciting about football.
Right.
So I just want to see it. I can't wait.
I'm eager to see what's going to happen. Bug definitely is going to be up for this game because Herman was supposed to play with Reckless.
Yes.
And he decided to go to LPAC, even though he had basically verbally kind of committed to Reckless, but at the last minute, you know, went with LPAC. Ty is his brother, so obviously you're going to play with your family. But I was told he was supposed to play with Reckless.
I mean, it looks like LPAC is snagging a lot of players. Like
LPAC needs to get their stuff together. But we'll see what happens. Like I said, Reckless is coming to play. The next game we're going to talk about now is going to be Animal Planet and Black Stallions. Oh, this was another game that was, I would say, hard to watch. 6-0.
I mean,
except for that guy Mike on Black Stallions. That kid is a baller. He had 4 tackles, 3 interceptions, 4 catches, a touchdown. That kid was balling.
Oh, he was. But I mean, let's not sleep on number 50 from Animal Planet. He had 7 catches and an interception on defense. So they had some guys playing this game. Of course, Mike is the player of the game.
Right.
But, you know, Animal Planet has some guys playing. There was that deep pass to Storm.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they have guys on the Animal Planet. But my point is, like, it doesn't work. For some reason, they just don't come out on top. They need to fix it because it's not working.
Well, they're 0-2 right now, and they have their week 2 bye is going to be a makeup game. So they're 0-2 right now. They got to get it together because right now they're at the bottom of their division, and obviously the last place team will not make the playoffs. So they have to get it together.
I mean, there's hope for them though.
Right.
I mean, I've seen them play. They're not horrible. They're not like how I would say, you know, like we already pointed out, you know, Ball So Hard is having a very horrible season. You know, they had 2 bad losses. I mean, they weren't horrible, but a lot of times they lose on themselves. They make mistakes on themselves, but you know, they can fix it if they want to.
Storm has stepped up. Storm is the coach of the team. I think he's a better offensive player than I do think as a defensive player. He made, as you can see, this catch right here. He made a big catch downfield. He's a good player. You know what I mean? But he needs to decide what he's going to impact more and just focus on that. That's what I think. As far as Black Stallions, you know, it's an ugly win, you know, but they're deciding, they're trying to figure out who they are right now. And right now, ugly wins, you'll take it because at the end of the day, nobody's going to, it doesn't say ugly win on the standings.
No,
it says
a win is a win. So, I
mean, I'll take it.
Anybody.
But next week, they got to play ball because they got New Breed. You know, and New Breed is hungry off a win, off of a loss, and Brian is going to try to revamp himself, and I think this is a team he can run on, because they have a lot of defenders who doesn't really make great tags. They kind of miss, and I think Brian can make the miss. And as far as Animal Planet got Riot Squad. Now you saw Riot Squad lose the game in overtime to LPAC, but Riot Squad is hungry for a win. They was told by Pate they're gonna have their full team. So Animal Planet better be ready because Riot Squad is coming. So now next we're gonna come back to our commercial. We should be having that interview with Felix on our next segment. You know, I'm excited about that because that team is 3-0 and nobody's talking about
at
them.
all. Like, I haven't heard any talk about this team. So they just slipped under the radar. Nobody's paying attention to them. And these other teams that should be paying attention to them are teams that lost today.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're in a tougher division. They got MVR and the Browns in their division. And they're undefeated. So, you know, when you got undefeated team and they're under the radar, nobody talks about them, they should take that personal because I would. But, you know, we'll get Felix's opinion on it. We're going to go to our commercial and we'll be right back with Felix talking about that game.
Don't let anybody make you think that God chose America as his divine messianic force to be a sort of policeman of the whole world. God has a way of standing before the nations with judgment, and it seems that I can hear God saying to America, "You are too arrogant. you don't change your ways. I will rise up and break the backbone of your power, and I'll place it in the hands of a nation that doesn't even know my name. Be still and know that I'm God. The promises of the great society have been shot down on the battlefield of Vietnam, making the poor, white and Negro, bear the heaviest burdens both at the front and at home. Though the civil rights leaders, for various reasons, refuse or can't take a stand or have to go along with the administration, that's their business. But I'm afraid tonight that I know that justice is indivisible. Injustice anywhere is the threat to justice everywhere.
Well, the next game we're going to talk about will be New Breed versus Untouchables. New Breed was, with Brian, exciting team, neutralized today. Yeah. 2 points they had, and that was off an extra point run back. Pitiful offense. Pitiful offense.
I mean, like I said, and it seems like I'm repeating myself, but this was no offensive day. So this team who hasn't had offense to begin with, had, the usual day. Everybody else had an off day. This is a usual for them. They need to step it up. They need to find something different. Like I said before, we spoke of before, number 17 was rumored to be a quarterback. I mean, if Brian, if you're listening, I mean, no offense, but you got to win games now. So week 4 is coming up. I'm pretty sure you want to make a statement for this league. You want to start winning games. Why don't you try putting them on, letting them throw some plays. You have great legs. I don't know if you have some hands to catch, but try to help their offense some way. Change it up. I see you tried on that option, as you can see here.
This is a bad option, though.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I watched the whole play. The guy was open. He didn't throw. He tried to run. He didn't see what he was doing. But my point is, I don't mind plays like that if it works.
They were neutralized. That's the issue. Untouchables knew what Brian likes to do. They know he's a running quarterback. If you look here with this blitz, he didn't even try to escape. He ran, but got rid of it. Guy receiver wasn't expecting it. You can look at this drop pass right here. They was not expecting what Untouchables was ready for. They knew Untouchables knew New Breed is a running team. That's what they do. They run the football, and they shut Brian down today. It was embarrassing how they shut him down. That's why I
just said change it up, because it's not working.
Now you get on Untouchables. JR, back at the helm. 2 touchdown passes. He threw 3 interceptions. But JR doesn't care about his numbers. He said he's not here for stats. He's here for wins, and the team is 3-0.
Yeah.
So what can you say?
I mean, what else to say? I mean, he gets the job done. I mean, of course, the 3 interceptions don't necessarily look good, but he doesn't care if the game is pretty. He doesn't care how stylish it looks. He doesn't care about that big play and, getting that nice trophy and being the best this and that. He just wants to win games. Mm-hmm. And it's working. That approach is working. And this is the approach I'm asking New Breed to take. Because obviously you see Untouchables are taking it. They won a game against you 12-2. So, I mean, they have a decent defense. Not to keep talking about New Breed.
Yeah, they got a good defense.
They have a good defense. As you can see, they made JR throw three interceptions. But their offense isn't working. Change it up. And maybe you'll see a difference in your games.
Yeah, it's true.
So,
I mean,
that's all I can say.
Untouchables, I mean, we're going to have an interview with Felix. We're going to go to the interview. Right now, they're 3-0. They got a big game against VR, though. And the mistakes that they made against other teams, they played Brick Squad 0-3. They played Underrated 2-1. They played New Breed 1-2. So they didn't play great teams. 2 out of the 3 teams they played were bad so far this season. VR is a top team. Coming off of a loss against the Browns that they should have won.
So they're out for blood next week. So they need to
We're gonna come to the interview right now. We're gonna go to the interview right now. We're gonna have Felix on the phone right now. Okay, we're on the phone right now with Felix. Felix, how you doing, man? The coach of Untouchables. How's it going?
I'm alright, man. How's everything?
Everything is good, man. Coming off a big win, 12-2. What did you feel your team did well this week?
Well, we played great defense this week. It was another good win for us. It was another week working on games to know what works with, what players work with well with others. We have a lot of talent that I'm trying to put together and put the best lineup out there, offense, defense. So to come up with a big, 12-2, it was a good win. It was a good win, good defensive game for us.
We've been told, that JR, who's your starting quarterback, is not a pretty guy. He don't care if he throws interceptions. He's only focused on the win and making the plays he has to do to win the game. How true is that?
Every quarterback matters, cares about throwing interceptions. He is a big guy that's up for the win. He does whatever he has to do for the win. There's times that, when you think you got it, and just other teams play great defense and get big off it. It has to be part of the game of football, but he is definitely a big guy whenever he just wants to win. That's what we go out there for. He's real strong on the offense and making sure that we come up with the ball and bring down the field, score a touchdown a little bit. So we get into that point. We try to put a good offense together, and we get it there.
The only issue I don't understand, and I think Ghost will agree with me, your team is 3-0. And nobody's talked about y'all. Everybody's talked about the Browns. Everybody's talked about LPAC. Everybody's talked about MVR. Nobody has talked about your team. What do you think about that?
Well, you know what? I kind of like the idea of nobody talking about it. It's just good for us. Right now, this is a new team that I'm trying to put together. A lot of the guys play with each other. I'm guessing I have a lot of guys that are trying to be over new guys. So right now, the way that we get away with, I'm happy with it. But like I told my team this week, I told them, listen, we need to start playing around and start putting up big numbers on the scoreboard. And as soon as we start putting up these big numbers on the scoreboard, untouchables going to be out there. So we have a good team with a lot of talent, and when it matters, we're going to put it out there. We're going to put it out there. We know there's some competition in our division, and we're just looking forward to playing the best.
Okay, well, I have a question for you, and it's about your upcoming opponents in NVR, who just came off of a big loss to the Browns, and now they're 2-1. How do you feel you have to play in order to get a win against this team?
NVR is a good team, hands down. I've seen them play in 7-1-8 and stuff like that. So they are most of the guys are familiar with NVR. Hopefully, we come out there with a good defensive line and stop them on defense. And these guys can move the ball. They've been playing together for a while. So we plan on hoping to move the ball on them, stop them on defense, and we just gotta play them tight. NVR is a good team all around. So we gotta come back. We gotta come out hot this week. And I told my guys, no matter who we play, we can't these 12-point wins. We gotta put it behind us, and we gotta put some numbers on the board. So hopefully, against NVR, we come out and we can put some numbers and hopefully stop them on defense. Because they're a good team that we can't beat on them.
And the next week, the following week, the next 2 weeks is hard for you because you got MVR who's 2-1, and then you got the Browns who's 3-0. So combined, you're playing two teams that's a combined 5-1. How do you feel you should do? Are you trying to split the next two games, at least 1-1? Obviously you're looking for 2 wins, but would 1-1 be acceptable, or y'all not thinking about losing any one of those games?
I'm not even thinking about, splitting or I'm happy with split or anything like that. No, I want both these wins. And this is something I'm going to stress out to my team over the week and let them know we have to come out firing. And, the little drop plays that we have here and there, we need to grab that and take it to the home. And, score some points. And that's what we're going to look forward to, is scoring some points, stopping them on defense like we have. Our defense has been pretty solid. So that's what we plan on doing against both these teams and the rest of the season. Hopefully we have a great season.
Okay, last question. You and the Browns are the only undefeated team in this league. Do you feel that we should be talking more about the Untouchables than the Browns? And if you do, why should we be talking more about your team than the Browns?
Oh, well, listen, I can't say who we should be talking about. Well, it's hot at the moment, whatever. We both obviously are the undefeated teams. And I guess Untouchables ain't being spoken about, so I kind of like it if we're going to come, out of nowhere and start dominating. The Browns is a good team. They got their good quarterback lefty. And, it doesn't matter just because they're undefeated. You should be talking about the most. There's a lot of good talent in the league.
True.
So I don't feel, I have no worries about the Untouchables not being talked about. But we're going to be out there a lot sooner than what everybody thinks. And everybody hopefully starts talking about the Untouchables and they can see that this team is real. This team is out here to play to win the championship.
All right, man. We're gonna thank you, Felix from the Untouchables, coach, for being with us today, man. We wish you best of luck for coming your next 2 games, man. We really do. I'm rooting for y'all. Just keep it together, man. We'll be talking to you again during the season, man. Thanks for talking to us.
No problem, guys. Have a good one.
All right, thanks a lot. That was Felix on Untouchables. He seemed confident.
Yeah, he did. I mean, the thing is, I like the fact that he likes being under the radar. He likes not being talked about. He likes that people are, let me say, sleeping on him. Like they could come and creep from underneath and take a win from you.
True.
Take a game from you, just like that. I like that confidence to say that, you know what? We could beat any team at any given time.
Yeah.
You don't need to talk about us. We're here to surprise you.
Okay.
So,
well, we're gonna go to our should be last commercial break. We'll come back with the last game of the day, which was the new team. I'll announce their name back because nobody knows their name yet. I'll announce what happened at that game. We'll talk about it after this commercial break. We'll be right back.
If I had sneezed, I wouldn't have been around here in 1961 when we decided to take a ride for freedom and ended segregation in interstate travel. If I had sneezed, I wouldn't have been around here in 1962 when Negroes in Albany, Georgia decided to straighten their backs up. And whenever men and women straighten their backs up, they are going somewhere because a man can't ride your back unless it is bent. If I had sneezed...
We're here back. We're going to talk about the last game of the day. We said we was going to announce the new team. Now we have Brick Squad facing YMM.
And that stands for...
Your Mother's Mustache.
Let's just move on, please.
Now, YMM, physical team. Quarterback went downfield, walking on the field, was able to go downfield for a bomb on Brick Squad. Kind of killed their confidence early. It was amazing. This guy can throw the football. YMM was formerly known as Go-Getters. They got some guys from the Go-Getters, from Lindsay. The Caesar, the coach, great guy. Took a bunch of young guys, put them together in a team, threw them in the league, and they got to win. So what does that mean? Does it mean the league is too easy? Or just
no,
Brick Squad is that bad?
No, I'm not going to say either. I'm going to say one, there's a team that Brick Squad probably never played before. So it's kind of hard to figure out what this team's about, who's good, who's not, who we should censor on, as soon as they come up on the field. And then just to get a bomb thrown on you on the first play, it's like, that's just a confidence breaker right there. Even for a team with so much heart like Brick Squad, that was something that slowed them down, I mean, they played hard, but my issue with them is that they move too fast for their own good.
Listen, Brick Squad, slow the game down. One of the refs, Pablo, one of the best quarterbacks of all time, said he saw y'all 7-1-8. And if y'all would learn to slow the game down, Crazy can throw the football.
Yes,
and he's mobile.
Yes.
But he got to lead this team and stop losing his temper. Then you got a backup quarterback that loses his temper too. In
so it's like who's going to become the leader eventually? Who's going to be the one to lead by example? My point is, I like the energy, I like the heart, I say it every week. But when you slowed the game down, you scored on a drive where you cut the field up. Easy. So my point is, when it works, you keep doing it. Slow down, take your time, and it works. The high intensity, obviously, it's not working. You know, obviously, you played a team who has high intensity just like y'all. So slow it down, get your bearings, chop up the field. It works, and keep doing it.
I mean, they thought the game was over. YMM made a mistake, got Brick Squad the ball back. Brick Squad scores, and they were down 6. They end up failing to stop them, you know, and YMM end up winning. It's hard to really talk about YMM because their roster isn't in.
Yeah.
They didn't have players with jersey numbers. All I can talk about is their quarterback. Their team is physical though.
Yes,
they made a lot of hits, you know, and legal hits. So I mean, they're a team to be reckoned with. And Brick Squad just got to get it together. I mean, they're 0-3, you know, and they could turn it around though. They could turn it around.
And
look,
the thing is, you don't hear anybody talk well about a team that's 0-3 unless everybody knows that they have talent and they have the potential to win games. All they got to do is get their bearings and, like I said, slow the ball down, keep the emotions down when you're driving on offense, because they have a good defense. Their defense is solid.
It's true.
So
I mean, Brick Squad, their next 3 games, they got Underrated, Ball So Hard, and Newbury. There's no reason why they can't go 3-0 in those 3 games. You know, and jump right back into the race of the division.
So it's
but they
not
gotta
over.
play. They gotta know, Crazy, you're the quarterback. Be the quarterback. Slow it down. The guys gotta learn to follow your lead. Stop arguing with you, and just make plays. Just make plays. Now, YMM, great coach. They got a lot of supporting cast, but they gotta understand they play. I would be arguably the 2nd worst team in the league. No disrespect to Brick House, but they're the 2nd worst Brick Squad. They're the 2nd worst team in the league. This week, you play a top team in I would say they play Hunts Point Renegades, who coming off of a loss. So that's when they'll prove who they are if they win that game. That's going to be a physical game. I already know it, given the way both teams are.
High energy.
Yeah.
Smack talk, get in your face, back and forth. It's going to be an exciting game. And both of them really want this win. And even though Brick Squad needs it more, they're both going to come to the field knowing that they need this win.
Yeah, so we actually have an interview with Caesar, coach of YMM, talking about coming into the league, talking about his team. We're going to go to the interview right now.
Okay, I'm here with YMM, captain, coach, C's. What do you think you proved today? First of all, what made you come in the league at the last minute? Just jumped in, start out with a big win. What made you so confident your team could come in and just make Ruckus first game, first week?
Well, you know, first of all, we found out about the league through our player Mike. He let us know, and I knew it was Harris. It started in Harris way back in the 80s, before City Island and all that. And, you know, I believe in my kids. My kids, they tough. You know what I'm saying? We won a chip already. We lost a chip. You know, as long as they got to grow up. Once they mature, there's really nobody that can really stop us. And, you know, I thought we could come here and compete. I think, you know, I ain't going to say we'll come here and win anything. We're definitely going to compete week by week. And we're definitely going to try to build these wins and get that shit, get that money. Because at the end of the day, everybody plays for fun. We don't. It's fun to play. We play for the money.
What's amazing to me is you got a young team. You got a league that got teams like the Browns, Reckless, MVR. But your guys are not intimidated by nobody. So how are you able to have a young team go into a competitive league, but it's not scared of nobody?
Because
the confidence.
They don't respect anybody. The confidence. They don't respect anybody. They don't respect Carver. They don't respect Browns. They don't respect nobody. We come, we play. If you beat us, you beat us. We'll go. We'll go back to the drawing board. We're gonna find a way to beat y'all. All due respect to my family, Carver. You know, legendary. But you know, other than that, Browns, they play ball just like us. You know what I mean? Reckless, you come out here, fall down, score, best team wins. Any given Sunday.
We beat Reckless already.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know, any given Sunday, man. You come out here.
Sunday,
they know about us. You know, when I called you guys, you guys automatically knew who we was. You know what I mean? All those wild young boys.
Yeah.
But I like this because it's taming them. And once they get tamed, I really feel they're going to be an issue.
Quarterback. The name?
Ralph.
Ralph. Wow. Arm is whoa.
Thank you.
What made you go down the field? You just got here. You ain't chop it up. You show everybody your arm early. Was that what your intention? Come out, make a statement early, punch him right in the mouth early.
If I see a deep, I'm gonna go for it. Sometimes I go long, sometimes I go short, depending on how.
Well, we're back for the interview. I mean, they seem ready. Caesar seems ready. You know what I mean? I appreciate, you know, him getting into the league. He seems ready.
They already made a statement in this league, saying that we're here, we're coming to win games, and we're not backing down.
Well, we're going to come to our player of the week before we wrap it up. My player of the week is, obviously I love doing defense, Mike from the Black Stallions. 3 interceptions and a touchdown. This dude is a baller. This dude is a game breaker. This guy is a player. And I think he's going to help take the team defensively to the next level. They're not really known for their offense, but this guy's going to lead this defense and make them a team to be reckoned with. So Mike is my player of the week. Mike from Black Stallions.
Okay, and my player of this week, a player who, when I say has heart, has energy, who doesn't back down, and knows how much talent he has, and lets everybody know it. He won a big game for LPAC today with a separated shoulder, and I'm talking about JP of LPAC. That's my player of the week, hands down, because he came in injured and all. He wasn't even supposed to be playing the season. He comes in, first of all, with 4 catches, big catches that helped him move the ball. Moses was unsure of himself in the game, and JP helped them get where they needed to go. And then that extra point, the 2-point conversion catch to win the game, was just anything but spectacular.
That's good. That's true. I can't disagree with that. Like, what can I say?
I mean, there's no other word to say but spectacular. So that's definitely my play of the week, hands down.
Now we're gonna come with my personal and what's becoming a league favorite. We're gonna talk about the player who gets this week's Come On Man. This guy is supposed to be known. First of all, we haven't really seen this game offensively. We haven't really seen him do much on the offensive side of the ball.
No, at least on offense, like you said.
When he had an opportunity to show the reason why this team brought him to play with them, he drops the ball by himself. Then he misses a ball in the corner. As you can see right now, the drop. Show the drop again. Show the drop again. Show the drop again. Show the drop again. As you can see, you see those drops, right? There was only one drop, but it was a big drop. Swagger, Ty, my brother from LPAC. Come on, man. Come on, man.
You have too much fun doing
You are supposed to make that play. Show the catch again. Show the drop again. Show the drop again.
All right,
I'm so used to
okay.
making that catch. He drops it. And this is the second week where he didn't show up. Offensively. Defensively, he's been dominant.
Oh, we spoke about that already.
But offensively, come on, man. Come on, man. So, yes, this week's player on Come On Man is Ty Swagger Hines. Come on, man.
He's not gonna like that at all.
So we're gonna hopefully motivate him. They're gonna need him next week. They're gonna need him next week. They got reckless. So we're gonna wrap up the game. We're gonna wrap up the show today. Great time. Like I said, it's Martin Luther King's birthday. Please, if you go to the site, go to the guest book on the UFL page. Leave your reason why Martin Luther King was such an impact man in your life. Put it up there. Put your name, man. It'll be great. Everybody puts their opinions, and we'll come next week and we'll talk about, we'll give every player's name and we'll give what Martin Luther King meant to them. I want to thank y'all. Big games next week. Obviously, like I said, my opinion is mine is my own, and if you don't like it, do something to feel about it. I can't talk bad if you do something good. If you do something good, I'm going to talk good. If you do something bad, we're not going to cover it up.
No. And I'm not one to get on people hard, but you know, you got to do something. If we're talking bad about you, that means something needs to change. So it's no offense.
We're coming into week 4. Now it's playoff time. Now it's time. You already know who you are. It's time to step your game up because now you're looking to make the playoffs. And now you're looking to, I don't want to play 2 games in one day. So I'm trying to be one of the top 2 seeds. So these other teams better step it up because that top seed gets a bye that day. And they'll play you after you coming off a tough game.
And they're fresh.
Fresh, ready to go. So I want y'all all to think about it. Once again, we're going to thank Martin Luther King right now, watching down from heaven for all the stuff he did for us. Because if it wasn't for us, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing right now with football in general, all the stuff minorities were able to accomplish thanks to this man. So like I said, once again, please go to the guest book. Leave your comments. This week is Martin Luther King comments. After that, leave whatever comments, trash talk. That's how you get at me. You feel a certain way about what I said, get on there, get at me. He'll be happy to read it and get at me based on what you said.
Of course.
Please, no profanity, no cursing. It's a lot of ways you can get at somebody without using profanity. Remember, it's a Christian league, so get at me. Go on the guest book. Talk about me. Whatever you say. Say, I don't know what I'm talking about. Say, I don't know football. Say, I'm blind. He loves that. Because he needs somebody on his side because he already think I don't know what I'm talking about. So please, leave your comments. But this week, like I said, is Martin Luther King birthday. Leave your comments for that. And we'll talk. Anything you want to tell them before we wrap it up?
All I'm saying is, for this week coming up, for those who are either 1-2 or 0-3, step your game up. Because nobody's going to slow down for you to catch up. Everybody's trying to leave you in the dust. You got to catch up. Make this game, make these games coming up your statement to say that we're not going nowhere. We're here and we're here to win. That's all I can say.
Okay, we're going to wrap it up, fellas. We see y'all next week. Thanks for tuning in. This should be up. We'll see y'all next week. Thank you on behalf of Real Tough Talk.